Hello guys and welcome back to another Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord developer blog. Today we're going to be talking about party speed, how it can be affected with different variables throughout the game. May this be with your unique troops, how many troops, or your terrain, or where you are on the battlefield or on the world map. But we are back in Mount and Blade well, I say we're not really back because it's not out yet. But in previous Mount and Blade games, i.e. Warband, there was quite a detailed system when it came to party speed, which, if I'm going to be honest, hasn't been 100% improved, but it has been kept the same with smaller details added to make it that bit better and give you more, as the player, control over your speed of your party and how you can affect this throughout the game. Now, of course, in Warband it was determined by things like party size, how many mounted units you had in your party, what goods you were carrying, and of course what prisoners. Then there goes on to the other things that you can change throughout the game, like character skills, morale, and of course then terrain and day-night cycles, because you're going to move slower at night time because all the bush babies will come out and suckle on your fingers. But how is it being changed in Bannerlord? Well, they're keeping the core mechanics of it the same, but we're trying to add more detail, but also making the mechanics a bit more transparent, giving the player more control throughout it, which we have seen as a theme through these developer blogs. Now, you don't have to hover over your parties anymore. You'll be able to see your player's party speed at the info bar. If you hover over it, it will give you more detailed information and things like that, but it will be there all the time, so it's a quick glance. So if you're being chased, you're going to be able to change this ASAP. But how do you actually calculate the party speed? Well, Bannerlord continues in Warband's traditions. It basically means the more horses you have in a party, the faster you will go. I mean, it's almost as simple as that. Of course, the more cavalry and mounted guys you have, the faster you're going to be. If you're just walking along, you'll be pretty slow. But not just you as a player walking, but also if you have more infantry than cavalry, for example archers or spearmen, you're going to be a lot slower than a fully cavalry force. This can be dangerous because of course you'll be able to be caught up more by enemies, but depending on how you want your army to be, I think it's probably good to even it out anyway with infantry and horses. But this is where it gets interesting. Now you're able to carry additional horses in your inventory. In Warband there wasn't all that much reason to do that. You could do it to sell them off later maybe, but you didn't really need to carry spare horses. Now in this, the more horses you carry in your inventory, these will actually help with your speed. Because any number of spare mounts available, the game will consider the number of footmen as mounted infantry. So let's say you have 4 spare horses, then 4 of your infantry will now be considered mounted infantry. Now yes, this does make them faster, but it is not quite cavalry. The name mounted infantry is specified and accented as something important here. It's sort of a halfway between cavalry and infantry regarding speed. It's not quite as fast as someone on horseback because of course they're dedicated riders, they're proficient in their thing, they know how to ride properly, but of course it's not quite as slow as a normal infantry guy because you've got little horsey over there that you maybe make into a lasagna later on if you get a bit hungry, so you can sort of get too advanced. You can't make lasagnas in, but please, can we make lasagnas in Bannerlord? I love lasagna. Lasagna is incredible. I mean, it's been in my about section on my channel for a good year or so now. But carrying on with the sort of simple mechanics, the more soldiers you have in your party, of course, the slower it is. Which, you know, sort of does nicely balance out in the end, because if you're very weak at the beginning, you're still able to outrun those massive parties. But now we're going to go on to cargo a little bit. Now, of course, cargo was a factor in Warband, as I mentioned, but this is a little bit interesting because the more cargo you carry, the slower you are, of course. But you're able to sort of weigh this out because now you can now get pack animals, things like mules or sumpter horses, and even pack camels that will probably be a bit faster in the desert. These can carry your cargo, making even the heavier cargo faster to move, and you'll be able to hold more cargo because of it without decreasing your speed so much. Now, relating this back to Warband, going into towns and villages and finding cows that you can slaughter and get the food of was one thing, but on the main map you'd have to sort of herd them around if you want them to come with you. Now, livestock is actually in your party, but they don't count as cargo because they won't make you all that much slower, at least for now, because of course cows, at least most of them, have legs, and the ones that don't are made into little Timmy's chicken nuggets. Cows into chicken nuggets, yes. But this does not mean that you should just get fully mounted units. This does not mean that you should just get a load of pack animals and a load of cows, because it means it won't slow down your army. That is not the case. To some extent it will, but of course, like cocaine, it can be heavily overdone, and you'll have some minor disadvantages to this. If you have an excessive number of horses and other animals in your party, there's an effect called the herd effect, where it assumes that your troops are going to be having a hard time rounding up and herding all the animals. There's going to be donkeys running off which way, you're going to be chasing after them, you're going to be charged by the Kurzates, but no, don't worry about that. Bessie has run off to the watering hole, you've got to go and catch her first, so it is going to slow you down if you have a few too many. So it's about balancing it out, but it still gives you more control. But that's it for this week's Bannerlord devlog. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video. It would really help me. Now, I haven't uploaded in a while because I've been so busy. It's a mix between lazy but mostly extreme business. I'm planning videos, but I planned so many videos, just haven't got them out. But it will happen. So thank you so much for sticking with me. But until then, guys, I will see you in the next one.